Do you ever ask yourself, how can I not care what others think? And a lot of people think this. Like a lot of people. Almost everyone's walking around wondering, how can I stop caring what other people think of me? Let's start with, why do we care what other people think? Well, we're social. Those that were social, they survived. I mean, just think about evolution. If we fear danger, and evolution taught us that if we're around people, we avoid danger, we get resources, we're better equipped to survive, of course we don't want to be kicked out of our tribe. We don't want to be looked down upon by other people. And also, it's not fun to be unliked. And we all had that moment in middle school or elementary or high school where somebody treated us like junk. We don't want to go back there. When we're feeling judged by others, it just doesn't feel good. But let's start with a few things that you actually have control over, because you can't read people's minds. You really probably can't change their minds. And let's just focus on what you can do. First, why would you allow others around you that hurt you? So if there's people around you that you know are judging you, that you know are treating you poorly, you are allowed to not have them in your life. Second, how can you care less about others' judgments? We're going to talk in a minute about some actual practical steps that you can do. But how can you do that? Well, you can start to say, I am responsible for my reactions. And third, why shouldn't you care so much? I mean, really, what is it doing for you to care so much about what other people think of you? Why do they deserve to do what they want and you don't deserve to do what you want? So let's start with imagining that you don't care. What would you try? What would you do? What would you wear? Who would you date? Who would you make a life with? How would you spend your time if you didn't care what other people thought of you? The truth is, many people aren't actually walking around thinking about you. That's kind of narcissistic to think that they would care that much about you. And those that are, you probably don't want to be around them anyway. Your perceived fear is actually causing you harm. It could be in the form of anxiety, nervousness, not putting yourself first when you know that you should step forward more. When you allow others to define your decisions, what you're doing is you're saying they matter more than me. In doing that, you're directly causing yourself harm. Here are 3 strategies for you to try to help you not care as much about what other people think. The first is spend one day acting as if. Act as if you have confidence. Act as if you have the things that you want. Act as if people aren't thinking about you. How would you live your life today, for a whole day, acting as if? I remember when I worked at a summer camp, there was a cute girl that I wanted to talk to, and I was awkward. I was in high school, and I said to myself, what if I just acted confident? And I walked up to her, pretended like I was confident, and had a regular conversation with her. All the other boys that knew me were amazed I went and talked to her. I acted as if I were confident, and I became confident. Secondly, allow yourself to go into worst case scenario thinking. Oftentimes you hear people say, just throw out worst case scenario, but allow yourself to actually think through it. Allow yourself to go down that rabbit hole. What really is the worst case scenario here? What would happen if that actually happened? How would you get through it? If things really went terrible and people rejected you and all the things were true, how would you get through that? I imagine you're stronger than you actually give yourself credit for. Third, if someone hurts you, you are allowed to fast from them. In the same way in spiritual traditions, people give up food or drinking or chocolate for a period of time to have clarity. You're allowed to fast from the people that you think are damaging to you. In fact, it might actually be healthy for you to fast from those toxic people. So sure, it's natural to fear rejection, But what would life be like if you were a little bit lighter? In the comments below, will you put what you're going to do today in order to help overcome this fear?